Minutes away from 8.
Paul Henry.
Maria Sharapova, Andy Murray, Caroline Wozniacki, Venus Williams. They're massive tennis stars, as you would know, and they've all played in New Zealand. But surprising as it may be, it's not actually all that easy to attract these big names to play in the ASB Women's Classic and the Men's Heineken Open in Auckland in January. The man who brokers these amazing deals surely must have one of the hardest but perhaps greatest jobs on the planet. Tournament Director Karl Budge joins me now. Karl, fresh back from the French Open. Good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Thanks for your time this morning. So, I mean, they are big names. You attracted all of those people to your tournament in January over the years. And every year I hear reporters, sports reporters saying, my God, that's a good get. How do they get those sort of people? How do you get those sort of people?
Yeah, look, I guess for us it's acknowledging where we sit in the calendar. We know we're a lead-up tournament to the Australian Open, and rather than trying to shy away from that, we want to make sure that we play up to it as much as we can. We make sure that the players feel as at home as they possibly can and head over the ditch feeling pretty relaxed and good about how their game's going.
This is a big thing because you're over there schlepping around in Paris, you know, the French Open. These guys have got other things on their mind. You're dealing with their management, I suppose, in the first instance, and I would guess that primarily management are interested in dollars.
Yeah, that's always the hardest part. So that's why I can't scream from the rooftops here today who we have signed. You get the deal done with the player, you get their commitment. And
how do you get to the player?
Oh, I guess just all like relationships like any other form of life. So you sit down and have a yarn to them and and try and sell why we think we're the best lead-up spot for them.
Have you got a tiny little purse compared to the other people?
Yeah, it's certainly not as full as others are, that's for sure. But we know our strengths. We know that we're a pretty relaxed place. You don't have to travel an hour out to Homebush like you do in Sydney. We're in the heart of the city.
Does that matter to to the really big names? Do they care how long it takes to get to the?
Massively so. They're pretty. We did a big study when we were on tour around what tournaments could do to make it more appealing for players to play, and it could have been Rolexes, cars, you name it. The two things that came back were free internet at the hotel and an extra can of balls to train with.
No,
they're pretty simple.
An extra
beings.
Can of balls and free internet because we can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about free internet, but we've got plenty of. So say, all right, I'm Roger Federer, right? I'm sitting here, I'm eating my Lindt chocolates out of my box. What do you say to me? How do you woo me?
Oh, Rog would point out that we're the only tournament in the world that he's played and never won a match. So it's a nice little record we've got hanging over someone as great as Roger.
Is that going to work, or is that just going to piss me off?
Oh, he's a pretty competitive chap. So, that works with Roger, but then you've got to go away and have a chat to Mr. Godzik, his agent, that wants probably 6 zeros on the end of a cheque. So it's always one of those debates, winning the player first and then the agent.
I mean, I'm really interested in the whole internet and the extra balls thing. Do you talk about, you can have a lovely weekend on Waiheke, we'll have some of the best Pinots in the world sitting in your room. I mean, it comes down to those sort of things.
Yeah, absolutely. We do a lot. We're trying to take Caroline Wozniacki out to the Moët Chandon Champagne House in France to give her a weekend away and just enjoy.
Is she a heavy drinker?
No, she's not, but she loves a bit of lifestyle, and I'm sure there'll be a few Instagram snaps while up at the chateau. But yeah, we try and do as much as we can to make sure that the players have got a great relationship with us, and if they are going to say no to us, that it's a slightly harder no than it would be for someone else.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk Roger Federer, because I know you have been trying for Roger for quite some time. Have you signed him?
No, I haven't. I'd love to say I have, but no, we haven't got Roger this year.
Did you talk to him in the last week? Have you spoken to him?
Yeah, so we operate about 16 months out with Rog, so there's no point me talking to him now. Yeah, there's no point me talking to him now when he's already got his plans set for January, so we're trying to talk to him about 2017, whether he's still playing in 2017, I guess it'll just depend how he goes over the next couple of slams.
He'd almost be worth getting over even if he isn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wouldn't he, really? I mean, you'd do that, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so can you give us some hints? Have you actually, in the last 7 days, did you actually sign someone, or... Oh, you did?
Yeah, we've got a few people locked away. It's nice to have those handshake
biggest
agreements.
Name. Give me the biggest name.
We can't come out and make any announcements, unfortunately.
Because now would be the time to do it. Do you realise, Karl, seriously, right at the minute, you are on a radio network from one end of this country to the other, Radio Live. You're on TV3 from one end of this country to the other, and you're being beamed around every single pocket of the earth on the interweb. Now is exactly the time to make the announcement. So... at the next Heineken Open and ASB Classic, January next year, the big name is...
Paul Henry. We're going to get him along. He said he wasn't a tennis fan, so we'll make sure he's sitting front row.
Have you got the best job in the world?
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. Sipping Moet and Chandon for a week in Paris wasn't the worst thing in the world. So some of them are a lot harder than others. It's your biggest success relies on two things that I've got no control over in terms of weather and player performance. But it's an enjoyable
and the temperature
job.
of the champagne. Karl, thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations on the big signing. Karl Budge, Tournament Director, ASB Classic Heineken Open.